Let's begin with an undeniable truth. If you search for extraterrestrial life, your gaze immediately turns to Mars. We have invested billions of dollars, decades of research, just to find evidence of water and suitable geological factors on the red planet. We are desperate to find a place we can terraform, a second home. But have you ever paused to ask, what if we have been looking in the wrong direction all along? Right in our own backyard, adjacent to Earth, lies a planet that has always been considered the terrifying reflection of a catastrophe, Venus. The concept of Venus is deeply ingrained in the human psyche as an absolute hellscape. Surface temperatures exceeding 460 Celsius enough to melt lead. Atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth's equivalent to diving almost a kilometer deep into the ocean, and a sky shrouded in dense, toxic clouds of sulfuric acid. A place like this, by every biological definition, should be absolutely sterile. But then, an event occurred in September 2020, an event that tore apart the very definition of life and death in the cosmos. Researchers announced a discovery that sent shockwaves. Telescope data confirmed the presence of the gas phosphine in the atmosphere of Venus. Phosphine, chemical formula, text pH_3, is a compound of phosphorus and hydrogen. On Earth, this compound is extremely difficult to synthesize without human intervention or extreme geological processes like volcanism. Yet, phosphine is best known as a byproduct excreted by anaerobic bacteria, organisms that do not require oxygen to survive, often associated with the decay of organic matter. What does this discovery imply? It means that a place long considered the most lifeless in the solar system is emitting a chemical signal that suggests life is taking place. This ignited a new hope for humanity, and simultaneously, it fanned the flames of an ancient and bizarre controversy. Is there, or is there not, a species of intelligent beings known as the Venusians, as once rumored? To understand this mystery, we must explore Venus, moving past the toxic haze. Venus is Earth's sister planet. They are nearly identical in size, mass, and gravitational acceleration, but all similarities end there. Its history is a tragic tale of planetary overdose. The vast majority of the surface, about 80%, is covered by smooth volcanic plains, along with two major highland continents. It features volcanoes taller than our own Mount Everest Maxwell Montes, some 11 kilometers high. Both the geography and geology attest to the dominance of volcanism. The detection of sulfur in the atmosphere further suggests that major eruptions may have occurred relatively recently. But there is a deeper geological enigma. Despite the volcanic signs, we find strange, circular features called coronae crowns instead of long, flowing lava fields. This is a detail I ask you to remember, as it will play a crucial role later. Back to the atmosphere. It's a dense, text CO_ blanket. The atmosphere's mass is 93 times that of Earth's, creating the strongest greenhouse effect in the solar system. The text CO_2 and sulfuric acid haze not only skyrockets the temperature, but also it reflects 90% of the sun's light, making direct surface observation impossible. In summary, every condition geological, geographical, and atmospheric screams, no life. So, why the phosphine? We must shatter our definition of life. Scientists have put forward current theories regarding potential life on Venus, microbial life in the clouds. At altitudes of about 50 to 60 kilometers, temperatures drop to a comfortable 20 Celsius to 30 Celsius. This could be where hyperadaptive microbes reside, suspended in acidic droplets. They may have evolved to utilize the text CO_2 and even phosphine as a byproduct of their extreme metabolism. Subsurface life. Much like deep-sea organisms on Earth, microbes could exist within the Venusian crust. Temperature and pressure decrease as one goes deeper, and geologists suggest that water vapor and liquid water could exist there, creating the potential for a subsurface ecosystem. However, there is an immediate scientific rebuttal. Phosphine might not be biological. It could be the product of an extreme geological process. Volcanic eruptions pushing phosphites from the subsurface to the surface, where they then react with sulfuric acid. But if that is true, the next question must be, did life once exist? And is phosphine just a final whisper, a sad relic of something grander that is now gone? Through isotope analysis and evidence from NASA probes dating back to 1978, scientists found strong evidence Venus once had an ocean on its surface and maintained stable temperate conditions around 20 Celsius 50 Celsius for about 3 billion years. 3 billion years. Recall, it took Earth only slightly more than 4 billion years to go from a primordial planet to one with modern human civilization. 3 billion years is more than enough time for life to form, multiply, and evolve not just into flora and fauna, but into an intelligent, conscious, and highly developed civilization. The Venusian civilization, if it existed, could have reached level 2 or level 3 technology on the Kardashev scale, harnessing the total energy output of their star. But then, around 700 to 750 million years ago, a sudden change occurred. Vast amounts of carbonic gas were released into the atmosphere, causing an uncontrollable greenhouse effect, skyrocketing the temperature and vaporizing all liquid water. Venus transformed into the colossal inferno we know today, and all life was obliterated. What exactly happened over 700 million years ago? The widely accepted scientific hypothesis is a massive celestial body impact or a series of supervolcanic eruptions that violently released text CO_2 into the atmosphere. But more audacious researchers propose the most shocking hypothesis, a nuclear war on Venus. Could a civilization that had reached such a peak of development have self-destructed? Are the strange circular volcanic features we noted earlier the remnants of weapons of mass destruction or industrial sites? A counterargument is immediately raised: if there was a civilization, they should have left behind traces of mining, construction, and architecture. Why do we find nothing? And here's the chilling answer: time. 700 million years under that relentless heat and crushing pressure. Almost no technological artifact could survive. Only the most robust geological traces like those circular structures might remain. Is it possible that the remnants of the Venusian civilization are still buried, waiting for us to probe deeper beneath the dead crust? The story of the Venusians is not a modern fantasy. It began with George Adamski in the 1950s, who claimed contact with an alien named Orthan from Venus. Orthan allegedly warned Adamski about Earth's nuclear weapons testing. Adamski later claimed to have flown on a spaceship and seen cities dome-like architecture and tropical flora and fauna on Venus, a description completely contrary to what our probes later found. U.S. officials concluded Adamski was a talented hoaxer. It seemed the story was closed, but no. 50 years later, a woman named Omnik Wanek emerged claiming to be a Venusian. She offered an explanation that changed the entire playing field regarding their existence. Omnik stated that advanced civilizations like Venus and other planets, upon reaching their zenith, evolved into another stage. They transitioned to a higher dimension or higher frequency space that is invisible to our physical eyes. To grasp this, our space is made of molecular-level particles. Higher space is made of far more subtle particles, perhaps quarks, neutrinos, or undiscovered particles. They did not disappear. They ascended, entering a reality where they were unaffected by the physical catastrophe. If this is true, the narrative must be rewritten. Phosphine might not be simple bacteria, but a byproduct, a leakage of matter from that higher dimension, or the final residue of physical life that tried to adapt. Nuclear war is plausible, and the Venusians found a way to escape the self-destructs they created. Adamski's descriptions of cities and vegetation may not have been lies, but reflections of a civilization still existing in a different dimension, a memory transmitted through contact. We have moved from a dead planet to a planet with signs of life, and finally to a planet that may have fostered a civilization that saved itself by transcending physical limits. This leads to questions we cannot ignore. Is Earth's fate Venus's destiny? With the challenges of climate change and the potential for nuclear conflict, are we following in the footsteps of our sister? What is life? Does it have to be carbon-based and exist in the 3 dimensions we can measure? Or can it be a form of energy, a consciousness that has overcome matter? And most importantly, are the Venusians, who escaped annihilation, watching us? Are they intervening to prevent us from self-destructing? Or are they quietly observing, waiting to see if humanity can find the path to avoid the grim fate that once befell them? What do you believe? Should we trust the whispers of a civilization that reached a higher plane, or simply a chemical anomaly? Share your thoughts and questions, because for Venus, the mystery of life may not lie in what we find, but in what we cannot see.